Hello, my name is Elena Gold, and today I'm going to be talking about my internship experience with the American Red Cross. I did my internship with the American Red Cross Service of the Armed Forces Department this semester. I was a community relations and outreach intern. The mission of the American Red Cross is to prevent and alleviate suffering in the face of emergencies by mobilizing the power of volunteers and the generosity of donors. The principles of the American Red Cross include humanity, impartiality, neutrality, independence, voluntary service, unity, and universality. The structure of the American Red Cross, so we're made up of 5 different sections: the disaster relief, blood services, training and certifications, international services, and service to the armed forces, which was the department that I did my internship with this semester. The population that the American Red Cross served, specifically the Service to the Armed Forces Department, includes service members, veterans, family members, volunteers, and then caregivers of service members and veterans. The American Red Cross is funded mostly by voluntary public contributions, as well as cost recovery charges for things like the provision of blood and blood products, as well as health and safety training courses. Under limited circumstances, such as in times of war, federal and state government agencies will contract with the Red Cross and provide material aid and assistance. So as far as employees and volunteers, the Red Cross is actually made up of 90% volunteers, which is great that so many people give their time to the Red Cross. We also have employees such as program managers, and then interns are also a big part of the American Red Cross team as well. When it came to my internship responsibilities as a community outreach and relations intern, part of it was to build relationships with community partners to develop and assist in overseeing programs. That included partnering with other Red Cross volunteers and employees, such as the disaster services team, to plan resiliency programs. It also included performing regional casework through emergency communication messages and family follow-up MEPS contact cards or military entrance processing stations. That included calling family members of service members in order to get them the information about starting emergency communication messages if there ever was an emergency where they needed their service member to come home. It also consisted of providing information and resources about the Red Cross programs to veterans, service members, and their families, as well as participating in and supporting regional events. That included going to different things at Camp Lejeune, as well as supporting the events that other interns were involved in. It also included assisting in program implementation and assessing strategies for program improvement. So planning those resiliency programs and then afterwards analyzing what could go better, what needs improvement for the future, and what went well. It also included attending and participating in the weekly Service of the Armed Forces intern meetings in order to kind of get together with everybody, assess our progress, see what everybody's doing, see what else we can get involved in, and see where we can help. The projects that I worked on this semester included planning and hosting resiliency programs for service members, veterans, families, family members, and volunteers. Specifically, me and another intern planned 2 resiliency programs in conjunction with the disaster program managers this semester. It also included creating a list with Lindsay Curlin of military agencies to contact about planning resiliency programs in order to increase participation in the future. It also included creating a spreadsheet to analyze the responses on feedback forms from those resiliency programs to see how the participants felt about the programs, what they thought could have gone better, or what they thought went well. And then creating a future involvement form for resiliency program participants to learn a bit more about and request an invitation to future programs. So that consisted of creating that form that had a short summary of each of the programs and then a spot for the participants to put their information if they would like to be contacted to go to any of those programs. The C public health domains that I used during my internship included basic tools of data collection as well as data analysis. In the process of putting on those resiliency programs and then collecting the data from them in order to analyze them. I use those 2 CEIF domains, as well as intro to evaluation concepts. I used that in terms of evaluating the resiliency programs, as well as evaluating my progress over the semester with my supervisors. I also used intro to planning concepts in order to plan those resiliency programs and make those happen. And then I also used quite a bit the use of electronic technology, as most of my internship was remote. I spent a lot of time using technology and learning how to use the agent-like casework software, as well as Volunteer Connection, which is the Red Cross volunteer portal, as well as a couple other things that the Red Cross uses online. The most important learning that took place for me included both casework and resiliency programs. With casework, that is a client-facing role, so I did spend a lot of time talking with and helping clients, and that does come with its ups and downs. There are always challenges as well as very rewarding moments with that. So that was definitely a learning object for me. Also learning about the Red Cross services in order to be able to provide those to those clients in the best way possible and in the most knowledgeable way possible. I'd also included learning how to navigate Agent Light and that casework assistance manual. Agent Light, like I said, is the software that we use for casework, and then the casework assistance manual is where we have all of our resources. So learning how to use both of those in order to best assist clients was definitely important learning that took place. There was also learning that took place with the resiliency programs. So that included planning and organizing the events, as well as learning about the different resiliency programs in order to plan them, as well as present them to others in order to get those scheduled. And then also learning how to reflect on and analyze the success of the programs in order to increase participation in the future, and see how things went and see what needs to be improved. What I liked the most and least about my internship, so for the most, was that it was an extremely supportive team, and the supervisors were extremely supportive. Having those weekly intern meetings really helped to keep everybody involved and connected, which was great because it really did feel like a little community. The supervisors were always only a call or text away, so they were extremely supportive as well. I always felt like I could go to them with any questions that I had, and they were always extremely receptive and appreciative. And they made my experience really great. There were also many possible areas of involvement at the beginning of the semester. We were given the option to kind of pick from a bunch of different places to get involved. So there was a lot of opportunity for me to get involved in multiple things, which was great. What I didn't like as much was that the internship was mostly virtual, so I didn't get to go in person very often, but I did every once in a while, which was great, and having those weekly meetings did keep everybody involved, so it was still a great sense of community with the team. Another thing that I didn't love as much was that casework can be a little bit redundant, just as it is a pretty similar thing that you're doing every day. It was still a great learning opportunity because you're talking to somebody new every day. So there's always room to grow and learn in that aspect. The most memorable experience for me was getting to host those resiliency programs and see the results of our work. We did host those 2 resiliency programs, stress solutions and effective communication, at the end of the semester in conjunction with the disaster programs. So it was great to see our hard work pay off and have that resiliency program. And that picture is actually from the resiliency program, one of them that we did plan. So overall, I had an extremely great experience with the Red Cross this semester. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to have been able to work with them. And I look forward to continuing to volunteer in the future. Thank you so much.